It's Luke Howard Live! Oh, hang on. That's it. Woo! Thank you! Woo! Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Great round of applause. As always, hello everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Friday the 5th of February. Another show, another day. Great to have your company. Now, coming up on the show today, lots of things to look forward to. I must say what we've got coming up because we're talking lots of news, of course, of the usual. Talking what it is now. Oh yeah, national days for today. Before I forget, let's just get this over and done with. It's Weatherspoons Day today, and I don't even know what that is. Weather Person's Day. Alright, because that's the day. It's also Wear Red Day. So go and wear your red stuff day. It's also Shower with a Friend Day. And it's also Bubblegum Day as well today. It's also Nutella Day as well. Lots of days to celebrate. Nutella is that chocolate spread you put on your toast. So lots of national days to celebrate today. So if you are celebrating any of those days on this very lovely, glorious, cloudy, sunny day, then I would suggest enjoy and have a good one. I don't even know what that other thing... Really? What was they... There's a day for everything. And I never actually knew there was a day for Shower with a Friend Day. That does make me laugh. Okay, so moving on because we're going to talk about lots of news now. We've got news about the hotel quarantining that we're going to be talking about now. And then we're going to be talking about something I've never really heard of, to be honest with you. It's called Sangaree Silk Unknown DJ's debut record. It's been sold up to 30,000 quid. Well, I never actually knew that. So we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. And then we'll talk some more entertainment news. And then we'll play lots of music. And then Michael's back because he wants to talk about a petition about what's to do with looking after dogs and walking them. He's just decided. When I spoke to him this morning when I came in, he said to me, "When I come on the show today, look, I want to talk about this petition about dogs." So we're going to talk a little bit. Well, petition. It's a job he wants to do. Right? He wants to raise some money to get his new mobile phone. So he's going to talk about his new dog walking job later on in the show today. Okay, so let's kickstart then with what's in the news today, of course, and we're going to talk about the ministers about the hotel quarantine. I mean, we spoke about a little bit about this a few weeks ago, but I think we need to speak a little bit more about it so everyone gets the gist about it as well. Oh, by the way, to get in touch with the show, do email Luke 345457 at student.hrc.ac.uk, or it's also Gary J Howard 68 at hotmail.com. You can also find the show on Instagram. It's the Luke Howard fan page, and you can also use the hashtag Luke Howard, hashtag Luke Howard Live, and hashtag Luke Howard Live at lunchtime. Good ways. Okay, so do get in touch. Or you can even leave a message below where this show's being broadcast as well. So, and then I'll get back to you on the show. Okay, so anyway, getting back to the news from today, because the Foreign Office Minister James Cleverly has defended the government's plan to quarantine travellers in hotels, which is going to be beginning on the 15th of February, which is not this Monday, the Monday after. And arrivals from COVID-19 hotspots will have to stay in a hotel for 10 nights. Now, Mr. Cleverly said he did not know how many hotels had signed up yet. Labour said the scheme should be extended to all international travellers and not just some countries as well. And I never actually knew that either, to be honest with you. Hotel quarantine requirements are being introduced in an effort to control the spread of new variants of COVID. The first identified in South Africa and Brazil, which scientists believe may be more effectuous and may reduce the effectiveness of vaccines. The rules affect UK residents and Irish national travelling from 33 countries on the red list, and it also covers much of the South America, Southern Africa, and the United Arab Emirates and Portugal as well. Now, non-UK travellers from these locations are currently banned from entry, apparently. Anyway, so that is why they're not. I mean, I see quite a lot of planes flying over where I live, and of course, that isn't really passengers. I think that's more to do with them bringing food into the country, but who knows? Non-UK travellers from the locations, of course, are currently being banned, and hotels near airports, including Heathrow, Gatwick, London City, Birmingham, Bristol, Manchester, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Aberdeen, they've all been expected to book up for quarantine, apparently. So, yeah. The government still is working at a place to secure the rooms it needs and has had a decision with more than 60 companies in the hotel and travel industries. In the face of the new variants, it is important that the government continues to take the necessary steps to protect people and save lives, and the Department of Health and Social Care statement. It said that the quarantine travellers will be served 3 meals a day in their rooms with hot and cold options. Tea, coffee, fruit, water, they will all be available for them, of course. The hotels, and of course, maybe even champagne even, but quarantine travels as well, and hotels also be required to work with government-approved security staff. They've all been according to documents seen by the BBC. The security guards are going to be patrolling inside and outside the hotel to prevent unauthorised access, apparently. Well, anyone wanting to smoke outside or get fresh air. They're also going to be escorted by security staff. An industry source said the government estimated quarantine could cost about £80 a night. Now, if they are taking rooms for 1,425 newly arrived passengers per night until the 31st of March, which is not this month, next month, of course, obviously next month, that is a bill of $55 million. And they also added that many hotels have said that they are going to be waiting to hear more details from the government about how it's all going to be working. And the chair of the Manchester Hoteliers Association, Adrian Ellis, has said that some hotels are going to be interested as well, apparently. But they also had a meeting the other day, about 35 members attending, I think. Was it about 35 members attending, was it? Something like that. But the guidelines are going to be, unfortunately, nothing that has been received as of now. And they all understand that they can read in the media, apparently, and they asked how many hotels had signed up. The Foreign Office Minister, Mr. Cleverly, said that they don't have that detail at their fingertips at all. Now, speaking to a news programme, he added the announcement that came out at 1 minute past midnight this morning, funny enough, this morning. And it is understanding that no one has formally signed up to it, apparently, but the whole point of this is that they give the hotel some notice. Documents suggest that ministers expect more than 1,000 UK residents a day to return from places where new variants are prevalent. Now, they're going to be planning for captivity greater than the expected numbers of people arriving from those countries, and Mr. Cleverly ideally want to try and do their limit as much as possible. The number of people who are arriving from those countries as well. They also asked why the policy did not apply to UK arrivals, and they told a radio programme that the logistics would be difficult to I think it's the employment they would be imposing hotel quarantine on people arriving from low-risk countries. The people in our country are currently banned from travelling abroad, apparently, unless they first have an illegal permitted reason to leave home, such as work, of course. Now, hotels and around airports have lost bookings from holidaying. Customers who typically book on a night to be near the airport for early morning departures. It also means that they may be more likely to agree to the government's main requirement that quarantine hotels agree to turn away all other customers and have their premises used softly by quarantine travellers. Well, I never knew that. Now, Paul Charles, a travel consultant who is leading a campaign called Quash Quarantine, Quash Quarantine, and so that many hotels are concerned about the brand reputation being insured, and if they do take in guests who could turn out to be positive, and staff, of course, they'll have to all self-isolate as well, and they have to be made subject to guests who pass on COVID as well. But ministers are also likely to increase the fines for people who do break the rules, of course. So, yeah. Okay, so let's move on from there now and talk about an unknown DJ, a debut record which sells for than 30,000 quid. I never actually knew this, but it goes out to all the real crate diggers out there. An observed single by an unknown UK breakout DJ has fetched a record-breaking 30,000 on the music collector's website Discogs. Now, a copy of Screaming Ritual Silk's Tuesday Weapon was sold to an anonymous buyer for $41,095, which is actually 30,079 pence in English pounds. Apparently, in December it was announced that week, and it's been announced this week. The 12-inch single was released back in 2008. It has undertaken a rare copy of Prince's Black Album, which fetched a £27,500 as if the site's budget is in pounds, £20,128. As the site's biggest site apparently. An early pressing of the Beatles' Love Me Do, on which Paul McCartney's names is Mr. and it takes the third place, having been sold for £15,410, which is £11,279 in money, apparently in English pounds. Now, it's the Silk whose cities the lights of Alpha Twin and the Prodigy was influenced, and says that he would never put himself on a par with the Fab Four in the Purple One, though. And truth will be told, the thought the sales was a joke when they also first heard the news. news. Now, someone from a Discogs managed to last week informing that they'd had the sale and thought that it was wind up, and one of the friends that they must have put someone up to something, and it was seen to be actually facial. And it was then that they looked into it and got speaking to them, and that they were so surprised as they was, and they're all still stunned, and it was just one of those bizarre things, and they're all still trying to process it as well. They added that, they said that they did try to find out a bit more from them, but they were saying that they are not able to give out details of anything to do with the buyer or seller, and it is a little bit frustrating when point of view. And they said, I do mean I can't know this particular, which is potentially not fair, which is what they said. Now, there has been a spectrum over whether anyone would pay such a high sum of a record most collectors have ever seen before. And comments on that Discogs website have suspected that Silk brought the record himself, and of course one collector even suggested the sale was an ultimate stunt by the street heiress bank scheme. Now, the Discogs confirmed to the BBC that the sale was genres, although they do not know the identify of the buyer. Only a few records of the likes of the Beatles, there's this Wu-Tang Clan, Elvis Presley, of course, the Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, had ever sold for some money elsewhere, apparently, which is what I've just learned there. Now, the only couple of the Wu-Tang Clan album Once Upon a Time in Sharon was told for $2 million, which is £1,459 million in 2015, to the businessman Tina Scarrow, who was later jailed for fraud. Now, Ringo Starr's personal copy of the Beatles' The White Album numbered, and it was sold at an auction the same year. Now, just 20 promotional copies of the still self-released single was actually ever released. The vinyl only plays on one side, though, apparently, and it was chosen from the weapon which is only track the garage, which also continues on a print and poem on that accurately. The infatuation was to create something different as a response to the knife and the gun crime issues that were happening around the time, and they wanted to do something across art, music and poetry if it wasn't really what they wouldn't have called traditional music release, and it was a multi-angled sort of thing. And musical speaking, the album mirrored the electrical sounds of the eloquent DJ Hell and Practical later week, and it was also an influence of the Big Smith and bass lines written for clubs. The collection gathered a bit of buzz around the time. The DJ recalled a question of, I think it was something like, it was to do with the thought people had forgotten about it, and they also moved on to and they don't really make music apparently in that sort of style anymore. Now, moving on to a little bit down here, because the Discogs were just database largely consists of used or second-hand records, still won't actually see a penny of that 30,000 apparently, and something which he admitted was actually frustrating. Now, someone is mercilessly profiting on their work, and said the artist whose average of Spotify monthly listeners had risen to 195 after several days of press attention. And as one of the many creative professionals was finding it was hard to make plans, and it was right now apparently that it was all ready to pick up the phone if electronic royalty or upcoming artists require their services. Now, they can get by when they put some music out, but people it was appropriate that it was appropriate that they can sort of connect with them on that level, and it was all that they've ever really wanted. And very interesting. So but leads on when the Lingerling question couldn't even sell his own copy of choice, where their weapon and pay his bills for the next couple of years, and it was sadly not where they were no longer owned a physical copy of the vinyl as it ever made. And it was as far as an official release as well. It was only have a copy, and it was sized basically with the record that it was a promotional thing, and it was then they were going to do some more full-scale release, but it was also just kept hitting a lot of problems as well. But it was at the time where there was only really one to keep promotes, but because it was a few, and it made sure that they all went out to the DJing clubs and radio stations around the UK and Europe, just trying to get the music out and get some response. And the record that was written for the packed out clubs in probably getting a lockdown speed in someone's house, where else would it be? As well. So so that's very interesting, that story. And we got the video. We got a little video here. I don't really know where is it the right one? Is it the video? Is it the right one? Is it? Obviously you can't see it because we're on radio, but you can listen to it.